Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is PsychoGold and this is PsychoGold Videos. This is the return of Vinland Saga. Last time, the episode ended on a bit of a cliffhanger and I was kind of irritated about that because now we had to wait for forever for the next episode to come out. But it has indeed come out, but it came out the night before my birthday, so there wasn't much chance of me reacting to it. So this is the first chance I've had to properly check it out. I grabbed it yesterday, so we're gonna watch it right now and see what happens. I'm really hoping that this episode doesn't end with Thor's dying, but I don't see how it's not going to either. He was kind of wrecking face when we last saw him at the end of the episode, but I don't think it's his story. I think it's his son's story, and I don't think as long as he's alive, his son is going to be able to turn into the person that we see in the opening. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe it's not this episode, but I don't think Thor's is long for this world, which is going to be really frustrating because I kind of like his character. Either way, let's check this out. 3, 2, 1, go. A true warrior. Yeah, that would be my reaction if you saw this guy just wiping the floor with everybody. He hasn't even drawn his sword. He's just punching them all. Ah! They don't even get a chance to hit the floor and he just takes them all out. Jesus Christ, how strong is he? Ah, he tossed him an oar as well. Like, he doesn't want to kill them. He just wants them out of the way and dealt with. This guy could be Batman in another life. Fucking hell! Hulk smash! It's alright, Thor's will stop him. Oh, okay. So you're worried about that monster, whilst the other guy was taking your men out left, right, and center. I'm gonna say, it turns him into a berserker, literally. Oh! Ow! He put his knuckle a little bit further forward so he could get him right in the eyeball. Oh! Show you again! I know! I was just thinking that! He's stronger than someone high on drugs. The Troll of Jom. Damn! He's earning his nickname here. I was gonna say, they're kind of creeping me out with their words. Like, is that the Berserker? Yes! Yeah, okay. He looks so happy. But I really don't want Thor's to die. I mean, if I'm wrong and he actually does stay with us through the whole series, I will be really happy. But the opening says otherwise. The opening makes it look like his son is going to end up sticking with these guys. Oh, okay. I thought, in all honesty, he was actually going to be secretly decent. I mean, not like Thor's level, but I thought with all of the time he spent on the sea, he must be competent. I don't trust him that he'll actually honor the duel. I mean, maybe he's just going to be an exceptionally skilled fighter, but I got a funny feeling there's going to be something underhanded that happens here. Okay. What? Okay. Whoa! Oh, I was right. He does want the challenge. He's looking for a decent fight. Whoa! He hit him with so much force he couldn't even hold the blade up. Damn! Look at him go! Jesus! I was gonna say, he's there. He is blocking, but he's not doing very well. It's taking all of his energy to do so. He broke his sword. Damn. Smart. But... Oh! Nice! Yeah, I thought it was too easy. But you're not going to keep your word, are you? You know that he's not going to keep his word. Kill him. Uh-oh. He's not going to, is he? He can't do it. Because he's too attached to life. That's why he took everybody out with punches. It wasn't a mercy. He can't kill anymore. What? That came out of nowhere? Why would he offer him that? Because he must actually respect him, I guess. There's something in his face. Oh, there we go. No, I don't think he was joking. No, I don't think he was at all. I think for a brief moment, he meant that. Oh, everyone in the background look is stunned. They've obviously never seen Askeladd lose. I hate you, Tors. Gonna say to take him so that everybody else doesn't have to die, isn't he? He still hasn't gone down there. Oh, okay. So is he actually going to keep his word and not touch any of the others? They're all I mean, I don't blame them, but my god, are they all stunned. How much willpower does Tors have, man? He is still standing and can still just about move his limbs. With all that blood seeping out of him. I was going to say, the only person on that ship, lad, who could beat him is now full of arrows. Oh, damn! He's angry that he's had to kill Tors. That's what I used to like about some of the older films that are set in these sorts of periods. Whether it be Vikings, Westerns, samurai duels. There used to be a respect between warriors even when they were on opposing sides. It's like they're cut from the same cloth. He's annoyed. He can't believe that none of his men died. He can't even justify it in his own mind that way. Jesus Christ, his vocal cords. Oh yeah, mate. If he could, I think he'd slit all your throats. I mean, I'm not being funny. He didn't exactly seem the most stable kid. Even when he was back safe in the village. So that's how he ends up with them. Damn. It's just like a burning torch in a storm. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That was the slightly depressing episode end of Vinland Saga Episode 4. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what I expected to happen, in inverted commas, but it didn't stop it from being gut-wrenching nonetheless. I really, really liked Tors, but in fairness, I think you're supposed to. They made him to be super likable. Basically, he is the walking definition of a main character in any other show. He's like what a main character would be at the end of a show instead of at the beginning. He's pretty much nigh on unstoppable in combat, even though he doesn't want to be in combat. He's a master killer, but he doesn't kill. He's a great father, raised 2 kids, doesn't believe in slavery, helps anybody, wants to learn every kind of craft that doesn't involve combat, but is known as one of the best combatants to ever live. He's been through his life, his character development. He's done so much in the time that he's had on this earth, and even though I really, really hoped I was wrong, he struck me from the beginning as the character that is too good to stick around for anything to happen. Because as long as he does, there's no reason for anybody else to have to step up. There's no reason for anybody else to have to deal with things. But seeing it happen is still very different to knowing it's going to happen. The way in which he defeated Askeladd and their whole fight after he just wiped the floor with one of the ships full of his men was incredible. The way he fights, especially when he was up against like the guys on the ship, he was doing disarms and takedowns that wouldn't be out of place today in the modern era. He was breaking bones, dislocating joints, using their own momentum against them. I mean, he did everything but judo throw one of the guys that came at him into the sea. And then he took down that berserker dude with a couple of really clever but painful blows. And you just think, this guy was ahead of his time, man. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of people are beginning to realize that the way a lot of great warriors throughout time fought are actually very similar to how they fight now. I think it's just that films, especially, have kind of made old-fashioned warriors look ridiculous, because the films don't know how to portray their tactics, their abilities, their fighting styles, and so it ended up just looking like everybody that wasn't a mainstream martial artist from China, their entire fighting strategy was just to swing their sword wildly, and everybody else just kind of stood there and let them. But I think as time has gone on, people have realized that actually every army throughout history that's been any good hasn't been good because they got lucky. They've all developed their own ways of fighting, they've all developed their own ways of formations, flanks, strategies, tactics, and the Vikings, man, they were pretty powerful in their era, so it makes complete sense that they would have warriors like Thor's, but comparing him to the other people in the show, he is leagues above everybody else. Askeladd was obviously someone that his men are not used to seeing lose any fight, and they were just completely, you know, taken aback that Thor's was able to defeat him quite easily, in complete honesty. So he is obviously a very, very skilled warrior in his own right, but I don't think there are many people that can compare to Thor's. Going as well by what was said by Floki in the previous episode and what we saw in the flashbacks in the first episode, he's clearly someone that can make or break an attacking or defending force. Like, he is able to do things that most men can't. Now, I always feel the slight difficulty, because you see, I really like action films, and I really like shows that kind of do what this episode did and really put in the effort to show the action, to take the time to make the action look good. And I often get a lot of people say that it's far-fetched and it's over the top and it's exaggerated, and yes, sometimes it is. And sometimes films will do the opposite of that and will create very realistic scenes, but one person taking on dozens of people at once and still coming out on top with barely any scratches. Is it unbelievable? Yes. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Doesn't mean it can't happen. And this is where I get annoyed, because if I say, like, you can totally believe that this guy exists, I know some people are going to be like, nah, it's impossible. If he took on more than 3 people, he'd lose. Most people, yes. But there are stories throughout history where smaller forces wipe the floor with bigger forces. And there are stories of single people who, usually because they're more intelligent, or they're more skillful, more experienced, and they've not let themselves deteriorate. I mean, Thor's is a freaking huge muscular dude. His body is clearly still in peak physical condition. He is not, although he doesn't choose to have the fight, he has made sure that he is still ready to have it, should the need arise. And I think those sorts of people do exist throughout history, and it's really, really fun when a show can get it right like this, where, yeah, there are exaggerated moments, and yeah, I don't care what anybody else says. Of course, you know, he uppercuts someone and sends him like 60 feet in the air. Nah, that's not realistic, but I don't care. It drives home the point that Thor's is this legendary soldier and warrior that you do not want to mess with. And I also like the fact that he categorically is a warrior, not a soldier or a mercenary. He and Askeladd, I think, are both of the same camp, that being a warrior means something, having honor means something, but I think Askeladd has lost that over time. And I think seeing Thors being defeated by Thors, having a duel like he might have done perhaps when he was younger, or maybe he himself was in a country's military at some point, I don't know. But I think he saw like a reflection of what he used to be in Thors, and that's what kind of aggravated him and pissed him off. And that's also why at the end he decided to keep his word as a warrior, and he swore on his ancestors. And I thought that was a really nice moment. Like, Askeladd as a pirate or bandit was there very much, and that's clearly the version of him that his men are used to seeing, and they only see fragments of the warrior persona that he obviously has inside of him. But I think they were just as much shocked due to the way that Askeladd was acting, discussing things with Thors, as they were the fact that he lost. Because I don't think they've ever seen Askeladd act serious the way that he did. Because it seems to me that he is a bit more light-hearted joker who doesn't really take things seriously, because they're pirates, they don't follow the rules, they're bandits, they do whatever job that they want to do to get paid. And that's why I think at the end, the way he acted and said, you know, whatever, just leave him there, the boy's gonna die anyway, that's probably the Askeladd that they're used to, who doesn't care about anything, and that's not the version of him that they saw on the boat today. Which also goes hand in hand with the fact that he's thinking about the fact that none of his men were killed, only injured. And I think that kind of annoys him, because that just makes it even worse. That he killed this guy who, as he even said, is worth 100 of the brats that he'd taken with him on the voyage. And I completely agree with him. And it's just playing on his mind the fact that he essentially had to fill this guy full of arrows, because there's no one who was going to beat him in a sword fight. And even then, the only reason that he stood still long enough for the arrows to hit him is because he volunteered his life to save everybody else's. And I think that really should struck a chord with Askeladd in the back of his mind. I don't think it's enough to change him, don't get me wrong. I think give him a couple of days, he'll get over it. But it shows that there is another side of him. There is a side to his personality that could be tempered and could come out more if there was a reason to, and I think that reason is obvious. It's going to be Thorfinn, or Thorfinn, whatever his name is. It's Thor's son, basically. Because he's not going to die on the boat. His willpower and his desire to want to slaughter them is going to somehow sustain him. And again, that does happen. People can defy expectations of how long they can stay alive. They'll be in a horrific state, don't get me wrong. They ain't going to be killing no one at the end of it. But it can happen, and I think that he'll see that and decide that maybe this kid is not someone that should be so easily tossed aside or killed, and that maybe he should train him. He should teach him how to be a killer and a warrior, and if he's half as good as his dad is, he's going to be a damn good asset. But I have no idea how he's going to convince him to do that. But I think it's a safe bet that he's going to do that. Whether or not Thorfinn will agree because he wants to learn how to basically kill him, or whether or not Thorfinn's going to fight it and other stuff's going to have to happen, I don't really know exactly. But I think it's going to be a very interesting story. And I mean, that's what this has been so far, 4 episodes. It's been a really interesting story. And the action is kick-ass. I really love Vinland Saga, and it just hits you emotionally in places that sometimes you see it coming, like this episode, and a couple of times in episodes 1 through 3, I didn't see it coming. Like when the slave escaped and then they gave up everything only for him to die. And this just shows you what sort of person Thors is, you know? As for the future, like I said, I think Thorfinn is going to end up basically becoming Askeladd's protege, for want of a better word. I'm sure he'll get trained by other people on the ship, maybe from Bjorn, I don't know. But it's going to be very interesting to see how the crew takes to him, because he's not exactly made his feelings towards them hidden. And obviously they know what happened to his dad, and it's just going to be very interesting to see all of the relationships develop, because I think it's going to be a very, very tense couple of episodes as they try and adjust to their new circumstances. Now obviously they could try and ditch him as soon as they hit land, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as that for them, because if it was, then there probably wouldn't be that good of a show. And as much as I will use it to keep justifying my own theories, the opening kind of shows that they aren't going to succeed. Which is my one problem with a lot of anime openings. Like, some people often say to me, especially when I was watching Shield Hero, I called a lot of things in advance, and ironically that wasn't from the opening. But there have been other shows where it's like, I wouldn't probably have guessed it if I didn't have the footage from the opening, you know? But it's just anime openings, you just gotta deal with it. So I hope you enjoyed watching that episode. I know I'm a couple of days late to this one, as I said, but I enjoyed it, and I will hopefully be on it for the next episode Sunday? Is it Sundays they come out? So yeah, I'll try and be on it faster for the next episode. But with that said, guys, that's going to be it for me. So please let me know down in the comment section what you thought about this episode. And if you would be so kind as to give the video a thumbs up, that would be most appreciated. Also, if you're new around here, feel free to subscribe if you want to see some more Vinland Saga goodness. I will try and keep up with the reactions as fast as humanly possible. As always though, guys, my name is PsychoGold, and I will see you in my next video. PsychoGold out!